There is an attack ongoing. This attack took place in the early hour of today. It was the early hour of today that they attacked the governor of Rivers State, the person of Fubara, by Jason Wike and all of that. And the same time, there is an attack on Rufai OSENI of Arise. So I would like guys to stay connected to the end of this video. A lot is really going on in Nigeria, and Atiku Abubakar finally come out to address Nigerians based on the ruling of the Supreme Court. You hear what this man said. He checked a light table. Tinubu is in trouble. Come and see what Rufai OSENI did in the early hour of today. Nothing must happen to Rufai OSENI of Arise News from Tinubu's camp. When I like guys to stay connected to the end of this video, you can share this video, ensure you share it. Share it to different social media platforms. Let it go viral, and if you can share it, just like it. Like it as you're watching it. Give it a thumb up so that it will be recommended for us. We'll then stay connected. I'm coming back again.
Welcome you back to LAJUPOG TV.
I don't have bad news for you today.
The home of religious gossip.
But you should leave the fight for Mohammed.
What is happening in the Christendom? Join now to make sense with LAJUPOG.
Hello my great and wonderful viewers, welcome back to LAJUPOG TV. For those of you coming across the channel for the very first time, ensure you click the red subscription button appearing on your video screen, and do well to click the notification bell icon so that whenever we drop a new video in few hours time, YouTube will easily let you to know. A lot of things is going on in Nigeria right now, and this is the update that I'm bringing to you right now. It was in the early hour today that an attack was launched to the governor of Rivers State, the person of Fubara, and it is allegedly from Jason Wike. They are fighting over godfatherism of all of that. There is agreement, according to report, there's an agreement that is signed with Wike before he can become the governor of Rivers State and all of that. So he's trying to breach the agreement, and this agreement is the agreement of being a godfather to Fubara and all of that. So it's all about godfatherism. So the attack was launched on a city governor in the early afternoon. Likewise to Rufai OSENI, the Arise News TV scattered in the early hour of today. The show scattered as Rufai was attacked by someone from Tinubu camp, and Rufai to fire back immediately. If you see show, it will shocktalize you. Nothing must happen to Rufai OSENI and even Sheikh Kimberly of Chinese television. These two guys are really standing for the truth as far as Nigerian journalism is concerned. I would like guys to stay connected to the end of this video. If you can share this video, ensure you share it. Share it to different social media platforms. Let it go viral. Let everybody know what is going on in Nigeria politics and all of that. And if you can share it, like it, just like it, give it a thumb up as you're watching it so that it will be recommended for us. A lot of journalists in Nigeria, they see the truth, but they will never come out to speak out the truth. I don't know, maybe a lot of them are receiving bribe from the Nigerian politicians, but the function and the work of the media houses in Nigeria is to stand the bridge between the Nigerian government and the people of Nigeria. They should stand the gap between the Nigerian politicians and the people and the civilians of Nigeria. But what we have in this day is quite different from what their duty is. A lot of media houses are being bullied and they go on silent, and a lot of media houses will never come out to say the truth the way it is. But Arise News and Channel Television are really trying their best as far as Nigeria is concerned in saying the truth and hitting the lane on the head. Rufai of Arise News is one of the major reasons why a lot of people are really watching that Arise News that is in place. And likewise, Chinese television, Sheikh Kimberly of Chinese television is one of the major reasons why a lot of people are interested in Chinese television watching and all of that. So Rufai OSENI have scattered the show today. Is spoiled everywhere shake. Even Tinubu himself was in total panic. So I'm going to show you the video of how everything goes. But before then, Atiku Abubakar have finally come out for the first time after the Supreme Court made their ruling. It is obvious that even with the fact that Atiku go to the United States of America and go to Chicago State precisely to demand for the academic record of Tinubu, just to buttress his evidences against Tinubu in the Supreme Court and all of that. And you know what happened in the United States of America court and all of that, how Maldonado, the judge in the US, grant the access to Atiku Abubakar and to all citizens of Nigeria to have access to academic record of Tinubu. And it was released some days ago, and when the academic record was released, everyone was shocked. It shocked everybody, and Atiku tendered to the petition in the Supreme Court. But at the end of the day, even with the fact that a lot of Nigerians are saying that with this evidence that is on ground, that Tinubu will be impeached and Tinubu may even be sentenced to jail and all of that, but at the end of the day, the Supreme Court made their ruling, and you know what happened? They made the ruling in favor of Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and everyone was shocked. A lot of Nigerians are really expecting that kind of judgment because they saw the manipulations that took place before the day of the ruling, because it was supposed to take place in November 2, but they withdraw it back to October 26 just for them to perform perform their enterprises according to report. And in that same day, October 26, they made the ruling in few hours, just a short minute. They made the ruling and they made it in favor of Tinubu, and nobody celebrates in Nigeria, even in the neighboring countries and even in international communities. They did not celebrate because they know that it is obvious with the evidences on ground that if Nigeria is to follow the normal constitution that has been laid down, their rule of law, Tinubu will not stand as the president of Nigeria and all of that. And since then, a lot of Nigerians have gone to different media houses and they have expressed their opinion regarding the judgment. They said Nigerians are hopeless because they believe that the judiciary is the last hope of the common man, but they showcase to us openly that the judiciary is not the last hope of the common man, that judiciary is showcasing the hopelessness state of Nigerians. That is what the judiciary stands for in Nigeria now, because according to report, they have been biased, they pervert justice, and there's no justice for the common man and all of that. So Peter Obi have not talked since then, but Atiku Abubakar have finally come out to shake that lies table. So you will hear what Atiku said today and the secret he revealed regarding Bola Ahmed Tinubu, because Tinubu is in serious trap at the moment. And you will see how Rufai OSENI of Arise News was attacked. Just stay connected to the end of this video. If you can share it, share to different social media platforms. Let it go viral, and if you can't share, just like it, give it a thumb up so that it will be recommended for us. We'll be stay connected. I'm coming back again as we watch the two videos.
I am absolutely sure that history will vindicate me. We now know what the Supreme Court has decided. At critical points in my political life, I always ignored the easy but ignorable path and choosing the difficult but dignified path. The path of truth, of morality, of democracy, and the rule of law. I always chose freedom over servitude. Whatever the personal discomforts my choice entails. When I joined politics, the critical challenge was easing the military out of power so that civilian democratic governance could be restored in Nigeria. It later became a very defining struggle, and as one of the leaders of that struggle, I was targeted for elimination. In one incident, 9 policemen guarding my home in Kaduna were murdered in an attempt to assassinate me. I was also forced into exile for 9 months because of that incident. In addition, my interest in a logistics company that I co-own was confiscated and given to friends of the military government. As vice president in the civilian government that succeeded the military, I, again, at great personal cost, chose to oppose the extension of the tenure of the government beyond the 2 4-year terms enshrined in our constitution. At the current historic moment, the easier option for me would have been to fall off and retreat after the mandate banditry perpetrated by the APC and INEC. But I went to the Nigerian courts to seek redress. I even went to an American court to help with unraveling what our state institutions charged with such responsibilities were unwilling or unable to do, including unraveling the qualifying academic records of the person sworn in as our president, and by implication, hopefully, who he really is. I offered that evidence, procured with the assistance of the American court to our Supreme Court, to help it do justice in this case. I give this background to underscore that what we are currently dealing with is bigger than 1 or 2 presidential elections, and is certainly bigger than Atiku Abubakar. It is not about me. It is about our country, Nigeria, and your future. It is about the kind of society we want to live for the next generation, and what kind of example we want to set for our children and their children. It is about the reputation of Nigeria and Nigerians in the eyes of the world. We showed incontrovertible evidence that Bola Tinubu was not qualified to contest the presidential election because he forged the qualifying academic certificate which he submitted to INEC. In fact, a simple check on Tinubu's past records in his possession would have shown INEC that Tinubu broke the law and should not have been allowed to contest the election in the first place. We showed irrefutable evidence of gross irregularities, violence, and manipulations during the elections. We showed incontrovertible evidence that INEC violated the Electoral Act and deliberately sabotaged its own publicly announced processes and procedures in order to illegally declare Tinubu elected. The position of the Supreme Court, even though final, leaves so much unanswered. Even the rebuke by retired Justice Musa Dattijo Mohammed is a confirmation from within the Apex Court that all is not well with the Supreme Court. The court, and indeed the judiciary, must never lend itself to politicization, as it is currently the norm with nearly every institution in Nigeria. By the way, the strong rebuke of the Apex Court by a revered justice who had meritoriously served for more than 4 decades should not be swept under the carpet. The alarm raised by Justice Mohammed and recently former INEC Chairman Professor Tahiru Jega offer Nigerians an explanation into why the electoral and judicial system have become the lost, not the last, but the lost hope of the common man. Judges are no longer appointed based on merit, but are products of the interplay of politics and nepotism. Worse still, the appointment of electoral officials has also been hijacked by the ruling party, as seen in the latest nomination of resident electoral commissioners, where card-carrying members of the ruling party and aides to politicians in the APC are being appointed into INEC. When two critical institutions like the court and the Electoral Commission are trapped in an evil web of political marginalization, it becomes next to impossible for democracy to thrive. As a stakeholder in the presidential election of February 25th, I, along with other well-meaning Nigerians, have done my bit in ensuring that our democratic process enjoys the privilege of full disclosure of the character deficiencies of the current political leadership. I also believe that even if the Supreme Court believes otherwise, the purpose of technology in our electoral system is to enhance transparency and not merely as a viewing center. We have to move with the world and not be stuck in time. Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, let me dwell a bit into the implications of PEPC and Supreme Court judgments. I leave Nigerians and the world to decide what to make of the Supreme Court's unfortunate decision. But here is my take. The judgments of the PEPC and the Supreme Court have far-reaching grave implications, including the following. 1. Is the erosion of trust in the electoral system and our democracy. Nigerians witnessed as the National Assembly changed the electoral law to improve transparency in the process. Of particular importance was the introduction of modern technology to help eliminate the recurrent incidents of electoral manipulation, particularly during collation of results. Nigerians and the world also witnessed as the leadership of the INEC, especially its chairman, a National Commissioner for Voter Education, reassured Nigerians on national television multiple times that the use of that technology would be mandatory. Yet, that same INEC undermined the use of that technology during the elections and collation process and declared as winner someone who clearly did not win the presidential election. They then went further to take sides in the courts in a dogfight to defend their illegality. Who would convince the millions of Nigerians to vote in future elections after they suffered endlessly on queues to register to vote, to collect PVCs to vote, based on INEC assurances, only to see their votes stolen and given to someone they did not vote for? And as they do so, they should ignore whatever the law says and whatever assurances from the leadership of the electoral umpire about what the law says and what they would do in compliance. And they would do so knowing that our courts would approve of their behavior or at best pretend not to take notice of it. The third is that if you are robbed of victory, do not bother going to cause for redress, because your glaring evidence of the robbery will be ignored in favor of the mandate bandit. Yes, because we have seen it. Also, your lawyers, however distinguished and accomplished, may be ridiculed by the judges, who may also go out of their way to make even a stronger case for the so-called winner than even their own lawyers were able to do. We have seen it. These are clearly self-help strategies and actions bereft of the law and constitutionalism. Only lawlessness and anarchy will result from such, with violence, destruction, and implosion and loss of our country likely to follow. I believe that we still have a small window to prevent this from happening. We can rescue this country from the strange impostors that have seized it illegally and are holding it by the jugular. Let me caution that the leaders of those African countries that have completely collapsed into chaos never came together one day and agreed to collapse their countries. Another thematic recommendation at the conference was that the Federal Capital Territory should be given the democratic opportunity to elect for itself a mayor who shall emerge from popular franchise. These two recommendations were part of the landmark reforms that were submitted to the military government that convoked the Constitutional Conference. However, and rather disappointingly, the government that midwifed the current democratic dispensation and enacted what is now known as the 1999 Constitution expunged these two recommendations from what eventually became the body of legislation to govern our fledgling democracy. As for me and my party, this of work is done. However, I'm not going to go away. If you think I'm going to go away, forget about it. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. For as long as I breathe, I will continue to struggle with other Nigerians to deepen our democracy and rule of law. I will continue to work for the kind of political and economic restructuring that the country needs to reach its true potential. Firstly, we must make electoral voting and collation. Members of our National Assembly here present, we must make electronic voting and collation of results mandatory. We don't want to see any human being handling our results, whether at the polling units, at the ward, at the local government, or we should all be able to stay in our homes and look at the television as the television is putting our results. This is the 21st century, and countries less advanced than Nigeria are doing so already. It is only bold initiatives that transform societies. Secondly, our members of the National Assembly, we must provide that all litigation arising from a disputed elections must be concluded before inauguration of a winner. Please, I beg of you, this was the case in 1979. I don't know how we came to this present situation.
But I would like to appeal. We are humble people. You have a president for the good of your country, if only for that reason, whether you like Bola Tinubu or you don't like Bola Tinubu, if just for the good of, even for selfish reasons. Okay, for instance, I want my country to work for me. You know, if alone, if that is the only reason, well, support your president for the next 4 years. No problem. 4 years from now, we can start fighting again. Who will be the president? But for this period, at least invest your president with some support for your own good, not even for his own good. It is me, is a diehard supporter of Bola Tinubu. That's my business to support him no matter what. But even for opponents, just at least invest him with some support for the good of the nation. That for me is the way forward. This election cycle, Dr. Abati, has been truly bizarre. Bizarre. I've never seen a more in fact, I don't know how to put it, you know. If it is not 25% in Abuja, okay, let's try 25% in Abuja. It didn't work. Then we tried double nomination. It didn't. This was the season of the gamblers. That one didn't work. Then let's try. Let's go all the way to America and try Chicago. That one didn't work. The last one was FBI files. No, you don't live like that in a country. For God's sake, please. The Supreme Court of Nigeria has given a definitive final verdict. We have a president. On the cross of Calvary, our Lord Jesus said, "Son, behold thy mother, mother, behold thy son." What I will say to Nigerians, behold thy president, and it's Asiwaju Tinubu.
All right.
That's
all right, Mr. Nofasa. I mean, as expected, very triumphant in your assertions this morning, and but I'm sure as a lawyer you wouldn't say that. I'm sure as a lawyer you wouldn't say that the opposition was not within their rights to pursue to challenge the outcome of the elections if they do feel that they didn't agree with it. I think it's well within their rights. But let's talk about way forward now. It's been affirmed President Bola Tinubu is the president of Nigeria. And so, like you said, Nigerians truly want what is good for Nigeria. At the end of the day, that's what everyone is pushing for. That's what everyone is fighting for.
Yes, yes.
So let's look at some of the decisions, or perhaps some of the policies of this current administration and how the implementation has worked out. First of all, of course, one of the most infamous one is the removal of fuel subsidy and the attendant effect on Nigerians and poverty levels, especially because of the delay, by put it that way, of the implementation of palliatives or measures to cushion the effect on Nigerians. Now, there was an announcement of 15 million households getting 25,000 naira per month for the next 3 months. And people have asked the question, after that, what next? What is the plan of this administration to tackle poverty, to alleviate the sufferings of the people? That's the big question for many people. People have empty stomachs. People want to have at least an appreciable level, of life and outcomes. So how do we begin to solve these problems for Nigerians?
Now, thankfully, the Supreme Court has decided who is has affirmed who is the President of Nigeria, and is the president Nigerians voted for, Asiwaju Bola Tinubu. Now, let's give our president some time. It's not as if, let's not pretend, let's stop this gaslighting. Are we pretending as if hunger came to Nigeria today? Did hunger come to Nigeria because of Bola Tinubu? I remember in 1984.
I'm sure you'd agree with me.
I'm answering your question.
Yes, I just wanted to punctuate here so that you can answer it, just to one of the things you said. Yes, this is not the beginning of hunger in Nigeria, but you'd agree, Mr. Onokpasa, that since the removal of fuel subsidy, life has been harder for Nigerians. You can look at the purchasing power, inflation rate. Yes, sir. Please go ahead.
Bola Tinubu did not remove fuel subsidy. That is a misconception. The law does not even allow you to pay fuel subsidy. That is the PIA Act. So we were paying since that act was passed, we were paying subsidy unlawfully. Then the previous government, which was comfortable with breaking the law with respect and paying the subsidy, only made provision up to I think June this year. There is this I believe we would have been in even far greater problem today if that subsidy had continued. It's not Bola Tinubu that removed subsidy, for God's sake. That is fake news with respect. The law says you can't pay subsidy. A president does not have a right to break the law. It is even the duty, the mandate, the obligation of the president to obey the law. And then we have all this, you see this news cycle, we have been doing a lot of things with respect that are just totally uncalled for, unpalatable.
Okay, Mr. Onokpasa, I would like to come in here.
Mr. Onokpasa, they are unnecessary. Totally unnecessary.
Mr. Onokpasa, I would like to come in here.
Rufai.
Mr. Onokpasa, my name is
how are you?
My name is Rufai OSENI, and at first, patriotism means.
How are you?
Very well, thank you. How are you two?
Yes, sir.
How are you two? How are you doing?
I'm okay. I'm
good. Patriotism means supporting your country at all times, but also supporting the government when they deserve it. Mr. Onokpasa, I put it to you that you came here to misrepresent the facts today as regards subsidy removal. President Tinubu announced subsidy gone on Inauguration Day. And that was effectively pulling out subsidy. So you say he didn't remove subsidy, quoting the PIA law that had been there for a while, is misrepresentation of the facts. That's number one. Number two, since President Tinubu got in, let me finish, Mr. Onokpasa. Let me finish, please. Secondly, since he got in,
don't raise your voice at me, young man. Don't raise your voice at me.
Let me finish, Mr. Onopasa. Let me finish.
I'm your guest.
So since President Tinubu got in,
respect me.
Since President Tinubu got in,
I will
the
walk out of
economy.
your studio if you raise your voice at me.
Mr. Onopasa,
me respectfully.
you may will take your decision if you want to. I'm asking a question. You might decide to walk out if you want to. Mr. Onopasa, since President Tinubu came in, the economy has tanked. Is at an all-time low as we speak.
It has not. It has not.
Let me finish my question, Mr. Onopasa. Let me finish my question.
You are a liar,
Mr. Onopasa. Moderate yourself. All right, moderate yourself.
Do you know what you are doing?
Good.
Listen to me. You're
Secondly,
do you know what you are doing?
Since President Tinubu came in, the economy has tanked.
You are pretending to be a journalist.
The indicators are there.
What's the matter with you?
Since he came in, the indicators are there. Number one, the cost of the dollar to the naira.
What is the matter with you?
The cost of the dollar to the naira has tanked tremendously as a result of the fluctuation of the currency. All right, that's one.
If that's Tinubu's fault, don't you know why naira tanked?
I'm still asking my question. Secondly, it's been an
of your friends.
Because it's been an all-time malaise in the economy as we speak. Cost of living gone up tremendously. All right, and things are really, really south for the economy. So, in all of this, it's been a slopey downward spiral. What would you have to say about all of this, Mr. Onopasa?
Thank you very much for that question, Rufai OSENI. Please, Dr. Ruben Abati and my adorable in-law, Mrs. Mairesi. Does anybody have a more reasonable question for me to answer? Because I am not dignifying that insulting question from Rufai with a response. I am not.
Mr. Onopasa, I will see that you're bailing on my question, and it's all right. It's all right for you to bail out if you don't want to answer it.
I'm not evading your question. Listen,
please answer it if you can.
Rufai, you listen to me. This is not animal psychology. It is law. Okay? If you want to be a journalist, you can be a journalist. And you should learn the ropes for those ahead of you.
Mr. Onopasa, answer my question.
You can never.
Mr. Onopasa, answer the question. Dignify yourself. Mr. Jacob says that dignify yourself and answer the question.
My God.
Dignify yourself.
Please, can we have peace?
Dignify yourself and answer the question.
Can we have peace in the studio?
My God.
Can we have peace?
What's wrong with this badly brought up little boy?
Mr. Onopasa,
respect me.
Mr. Onopasa, please calm down.
Mr. Onopasa, I didn't disrespect you for the last. I just asked a question.
Please, Mr. Onopasa.
You disrespected me.
Okay, do we end this program now? Both of you will not allow me to talk. Should we end the program? No, there's a breakdown of law and order.
Please, Dr. Bati, go
ahead. Maybe we can just end it. No, we can end it.
No,
go ahead,
Let's go ahead, please.
I'm appealing. Okay, we'll take a short break. When we come back, the program will continue.
Thank you for staying connected, my great and wonderful viewers. You can really hear what happened in Arise News. You can see the person that Tinubu sent to Arise News. You can see the way Rufai hijacked the question and asked this guy a series of questions, but the guy see it as if Rufai is kind of rude. But this Rufai in question, a lot of Nigerian politicians did not understand Rufai was saying of Arise News. This guy is agitating on behalf of poor Nigerians, on behalf of the common men of Nigeria. That is why he keep pushing a lot of questions to Nigerian politicians for them to answer, because we all believe that things are not going well in this country. It's not the present state that Nigeria is right now that they're supposed to be. Where Nigeria is right now, Nigeria is supposed to have been in this state since 1990s. But look at where we are. That is why Rufai OSENI was talking the way he was talking, and he really disgraced this man in question. Rufai OSENI disgraced this man. The man even said that he was disgraced live in live television. You know, he launched an attack on Rufai based on the question that Rufai was asking. You know, he called Rufai a small boy and all of that. So a lot of politicians have come to Arise News to attack Rufai OSENI, like Ayodele Fayoche, the former governor of Ekiti State, and all of that. A large number of them have attacked Rufai OSENI, but this guy did not renege. He keep doing the will of his people because he knows his job as a journalist. A lot of people are seeing him as an arrogant entity based on the questions that he asked and all of that and the way he behaves. behaves towards the politicians of Nigeria. Like, I mean, his behavior towards Nigerian politicians, but that is how it's supposed to be. If things are really going well in this country, Rufai will not be behaving that same way. I trust him. He will be the one to come out to give accolades and applaud all those politicians, because he have actually come out in different occasions to applaud some politicians, but in large numbers he condemned them a lot. And likewise, Shehu Okinbaloye is doing the same thing too. He asks sensitive questions for politicians, and a lot of them cannot really answer the question because they don't have this sense of accountability and all of that. So that is what is going on. You can see Atiku Abubakar too came out. I said it earlier. I said one of the problem of Nigeria is the PDP. Atiku is one of the problem of Nigeria. A lot of people are too emotional to see the fact that Atiku is the problem of Nigeria. I'm not having a personal vendetta with Atiku. Even Bola Ahmed Tinubu, I'm not having a personal vendetta with Tinubu, but I will still stand with the truth. Atiku and PDP, they are the problem of Nigeria. I didn't mean that PDP really did well in their tenure. You know how many years that PDP ruled Nigeria? We gave PDP the chances to rule Nigeria for several years, but PDP fumbled. There are a lot of corruptions and all of that. That's why Nigerians were hungry that the PDP must leave power, because during the time of Jonathan and all of that, a lot of Nigerians, the reason why they did not vote for Jonathan and they vote for the trick of Buhari was because they were already tired with the regime of the PDP. I didn't mean that the PDP did well in their regime. APC will not have their chance to compromise their way into power and all of that. They will not have a chance in Nigeria till now. But the demons terrorizing us in Nigeria now are the APCs. But PDP now are now joining the masses, and they are joining the citizens of Nigeria to be crying out and all of that, which is not supposed to be. I don't mean that they did well in their time when the Nigerians gave them their time to rule Nigeria and all of that. I don't mean that they ruled the country very well. APC will not stand a chance to rule Nigeria. Now, Atiku Abubakar in question is one of the problem of Nigeria, because a lot of Nigerians do not believe in Atiku Abubakar because he ruled with Obasanjo in 2006 and all of that, and we saw the atrocities that Atiku Abubakar committed and all of that. And even when they wanted to go for the 2023 election and all of that, they said Atiku supposed to step down because they believe that the power must come to the south. But Atiku is from the north, but Atiku failed to step down. I remember that Atiku stepped down in PDP. PDP will not divide the way they divided. They would have stand a better chance to win the 2023 presidential election, but it was the division that took place that made APC to have a greater chance to break their way into power and all of that. I didn't mean that PDP did not divide. I didn't mean that Atiku stepped down for someone else. A lot of people would have voted for Atiku Abubakar, and even with the massive rigging of APC, it will still have no effect to overtake the numbers of PDP and all of that. But Atiku failed to step down, and a lot of certain people here, they failed to vote for PDP because Atiku is there and they believe Atiku is from the north. But I didn't mean that Atiku stepped down for Obi and all of that. I didn't mean that Obi go under PDP and not Labour Party, because according to the report, Labour Party did not gain much strength in the House of Senate and all of that. They did not have much recognition. It was even when Obi got there that they began to gain more recognition and they have more strength that they have at the moment. It is because Obi is there. I didn't mean that same Obi is in that PDP and is the flag bearer and the presidential candidate of PDP. PDP will win the 2020 presidential election flawlessly. APC will not have a single chance. But Atiku orchestrated everything. That is why PDP divide, and we have the so-called G5 governor sponsored by Nyesom Wike and all of that, Seyi Makinde and all of that. All of them from the southern region of Nigeria formulate G5 governor, and 5 governors left PDP. What is remaining in PDP? They left PDP and they even colonized some other people and not side with them, and a lot of stakeholders follow them and all of that. So at the end of the day, they began to fight against PDP. Instead of them to work in favor of PDP in the southern region, they work against PDP. Why? Because of Atiku Abubakar. And it is that same Atiku Abubakar that is now coming out and speaking out and saying a lot of things. I do not have a personal vendetta with Atiku. I am saying it bold and clear. Even Bola Ahmed Tinubu, I do not have a personal vendetta with them. I'm only with the politician that is upright and is diligent, a loyal person to the masses and all of that, the man of the people. That is who I am for. I'm not for all these corrupt politicians of Nigeria and all these politicians that do not have their people in mind and all of that. So what do you guys think? Drop up in the comment section of this video regarding the case of Rufai OSENI and that man in the Vice News and all of that, they said what Rufai OSENI did is very, very absurd and is so lugubrious. But according to me, in my own humble opinion, I don't think the question that Rufai asked that man is too much. A lot of people say that the manner to which Rufai asked him the question is very absurd and is lame. But I don't really believe so in my own humble opinion. So I would like just to drop your opinion in the comment section on this video, because all these politicians need to account for every action that they take in Nigeria, because a lot of people are really dying of hunger. Because according to what that man that APC sent to Arise News to go and speak, according to what that man said, he said Tinubu is not responsible for the hunger that is taking place in Nigeria. That hunger had been in Nigeria even before the time of Tinubu. That hunger had been in Nigeria even in the 1990s. Instead of this man to just speak for the masses and all of that, he began to speak for Bola Ahmed Tinubu. People are dying of hunger. That I'm okay today doesn't mean that everybody is okay. That I can afford 2 square meals today doesn't mean that everybody can afford 2 square meals and all of that. So that was what that man was saying that got Rufai OSENI angry. He was justifying the fact that Tinubu is there. He wasn't the one that removed subsidy, even when Tinubu announced subsidy removal the day of his inauguration on May 29 and all of that. And this man was even talking for Tinubu that is not responsible for the hunger that is happening in Nigeria and all of that. And we have a president that is there and he cannot work out things for the economy of Nigeria to boom up. And someone is coming up to media after he have finished eating belly food and he began to speak for someone that cannot even speak for himself. So that is what is happening. That is why Rufai OSENI attacked this man with his questions. Though he couldn't answer Rufai's question, he said the question is kind of a rude question. But what do you think? Do you really think what Rufai OSENI did is very bad? Do you really think it's absurd? Drop a opinion in the comment section on this video. As I'm going on there to get another thing update for you. Make sure you follow me on all my social media handles on Facebook at LAJUPOG TV and at LAJUPOG Entertainment, and on Instagram at LAJUPOG. Guess what, guys? See you in my next video. Bye.
I see the hot for my body, I say make I yarn you. Religious gossip plenty day for body. Pastor with the line on top, he pastor for LAJUPOG Watch TV. Pastor with the bar, where politician with the do pass himself. All the while you waiting for church. All as LAJUPOG Watch TV.